Hi, welcome to a quick training movie for TaskForce and in specific for the copy-paste functionality. First of all, installing TaskForce is you will receive a zip. You can go to the client folder. On Windows, it's just going to the client folder and going into the AJP folder. On a Mac, you go to the Cumulus client folder and you right click on it and say show package, and then if you go inside you find the EJP folder. You unzip the zip you received, which will be called something like this, and you paste that folder in here. The folder should contain this and then some libraries. So once you've done that and you restarted your Cumulus client, you will be able to register the product. Registering the product is in another is explained in another demo movie. In this installation I already activated it. As we can see, when I go to the TaskForce license, it is valid till 2026, so it is active. So in the TaskForce you have the ability to set up menu items, and the menu items we want to focus on in this demo movie is enabling the copy and pasting of field values between records. Here, if you copy paste, you have to specify a menu item that starts with client : copy, and then whatever text you want to add after it, whatever help text you want to add, and it specifies that it should only select one record. You're copying the values first into memory, so it remembers we're going to take the values from this particular record, and then the second menu item is the paste. You could specify the menu item, the menu under which it should reside, and then it needs to start with client : paste, and then whatever you like after it. And then in here you will specify the name of a metadata template that you created. So this defines the fields it will copy over. So in the metadata template I created one that is called fields to copy paste. You can have many multiple sets. I'll show you in a minute. So you could have, let's say, photographer fields, you could have designer fields, etc. So you could have several sets to copy over. You can define them here, and then in this interface you can add several menu items, and in each menu item you specify this with maybe a different description here and then a different template. So you could even do something like this and say copy field values from, and then fields to copy paste if you want to have this mentioned. And then you can say X records. It can select X amount of records, at least one. And when you have set up this, you of course need to save it here, click OK, and then you need to restart the Cumulus client. From this point on, you only need to do this once in your system, and now everywhere where you have installed this EJAP in the client, where you added this particular folder, it will appear in the menu item, and it will appear in that menu item that you specified. So here it's now called copy paste. If you have other plugins, you could also add it in this menu item if you prefer to. That is possible too, or you could even have it in any of the others at the end. It can add it to. You just specify the name of the menu you want to add it to. In this example I told it to be put in here. Remember that I specified that I only wanted to copy over, in this case, the notes field. So I have in this one the notes field. In this record is empty. Let's see, the next record is empty, and then that record, so this record, the third record, is the one that has a value, for instance, and it can be multiple fields. I'm just showing it with one field here, holiday 2014. Remember, you need to have, as a user, permission to write in these fields. Otherwise, you will not be able to copy paste because it uses your active connection. And what you now can do is you can say you select a record from which you want to copy. So copy field values, and then you need to select those records you want to paste it to. So let's keep it simple. I checked the first two here. I know that they both were empty. So I got these two. So if I do paste field values, paste done, it says, and if I look in here, I can see that now it will also contain holiday 2014 here, and the next record as well. So that's what it does. Very simple. It copies the value of a selected record on which you said copy to some selected records on which you say paste, and the values, the fields are defined in the metadata template that you specified in the menu. So you create a metadata template, you specify the field values. This part, the value and the replace mode, has no meaning, so it's not used, it's just the field name it needs, and then you specify here under the task force the name of that metadata template. And as I said, you can easily create a second one if you want. You can just add exactly the same entries here again, and then specify a different fields to copy, a different metadata template, and then restart your client, and you will have two paste items if you like. Okay, thank you for joining this little training movie. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact Moksha.